Welcome back to my car cave. Finally got some new models, and here's one that I've been anticipating for a long time, as I believe some of our viewers have been. This one here, the large 112 scale Michael Schumacher race winning Hungarian Grand Prix from GP Replicas. Let's go ahead and get it out of the box and see what we've got. Okay, so I've been anticipating this for a long time, and I'm a little bit nervous opening this up because I'm a bit worried about the execution of a certain element, which I'm sure if you watched my previous 118 scale video, you know exactly what I'm worried about. Let's see, when you open this up, we get this new packet. What is this? Authenticity certificate card from GP Replicas. Um, Pretty basic. There's no reference to a number or limited edition. So this is a nice, heavy, thick envelope, but not sure why that's there. That's just extra, not necessary material. These do come with the decals as anticipated, marble decals, which GP Replica often provides for their tobacco cars. Look forward to putting these on. For me, it's part of the fun of making these cars look more realistic, and just gives you a way to interact with your model a little bit. And then comes with this GP Replicas cover, this kind of felt cover. On the 118th, they're in a wrap around the acrylic cover. On these larger 112, they've come like this. I don't know what the point of that is. I have no use for it. It's only useful during shipping. But anyways, it's in there. And here we go. Wow. Yeah, this is impressive looking. Ooh, yeah, I'm excited about this. This is really, yeah, this looks nice. So here you kind of see what the box is on a leather base. You get the kind of foam wrapped around the rear wing, these little plastic ties. So I need to get this out of here. We can go look at it up close. I need to put the decals on it, and then we'll continue making a video. Okay, now they've got the decals on. Just a quick reminder, the new model is 112th. It's the larger one, and this is what a 118th looks like. Both these from GP Replicas. What's kind of nice is that not only is the scale different, but the race specs are different. As you can see, this is from the Hungarian Grand Prix. They have these three wing elements on the top, as was kind of more traditional in most races. And then this one is the Monza spec, which has a kind of low downforce aero specs of the front wing and the rear wings are slightly different than, say, on the 112 scale. Also, and I wanted to mention here is that this is the Hungarian Grand Prix, which arguably was Schumacher's finest race of his Ferrari career, in my opinion. And I think as you read more, other pundits and tend to think the same as I do. This is the famous race where he started third, ultimately won the race due to a pit stop strategy. They went for a three pit window rather than the traditional two at this particular race. And at the end of the second stop, or at the second stop, Ross Brawn famously told Schumacher that he needed to gap 25 seconds in 19 laps, and thus he needed 19 qualifying laps to do so, to which Schumacher responded, okay, and thank you. So again, a little bit of history about the race, but also one of the reasons I was super excited that it was this particular specification, because it does recognize, in my mind, Schumacher's greatest race. Okay, let's look at some of the details here. For those of you who watch my videos regularly, you know what I'm going to say about 112 scale. For those of you who are new, I feel that 112 scale provides an opportunity to add more detail. At the same time, it also provides an opportunity to disappoint if that is not taken into consideration. That said, this car does not disappoint by any stretch of the imagination. I think this car's fantastic. It's beautiful. It looks proportionally correct. The amount of details is spot on. And it's exactly what I would expect from GP Replicas. Their 118s are pretty darn nice. So at 112 scale, it is great to see that level of detail carrying over. So obviously you can see the paint, very glossy. It's marble red at this point, that they started in 97. as opposed to the Italian red. It's got a kind of a more of a day glow color to it. Not sure if it'll show up um, on the video camera the way maybe it does in person, but the paint looks high gloss, very nice. Carbon fiber decals as well, also super high gloss. Probably not realistic. I don't think on the race cars that they were quite this shiny. These aren't road cars where they're trying to show off the carbon fiber. It was functional. So um, yeah, that's probably not accurate, but anyways, it looks great on models and it looks great for display. So speaking of decals, yeah, the carbon fibers you can see here, they use this checkerboard pattern. What I do like is that I think at 112 scale, this is the same decal they use on the 118th. So in 112, it actually is proportionally more correct. On the 118th, the pattern's a bit big for that size. So I think this is where example of where 112 scale suits these decals much better. A little bit different on the 118 scale. It's a striation decal here as well as on the floorboard. It looks to be the checkerboard pattern here. I'm not sure if that's coming up on camera. I can take a photo of it, but the striation on the 118, but it's more of a checkerboard here. They're kind of using only one carbon fiber decal here. You get more of that on the TV camera as well, and then back here on the rear wing elements as well as inside of the rear wing end plates. Then next up, you got a lot of photo etching, same as you get on 118th. You get all these rivets. Again, this is another place where I think the 112 scale works out better. When I look at the 118 scale rivets and then I look at the 112 scale rivets, I believe they are the exact same size rivets. So therefore, they look more proportionally correct here in 112, and you get a few more of them around the exhaust exit as well. That I think it's just too tight to put those in on the 118 scale, but they get them done here on the 112 scale. So you do get a few extra rivets that you wouldn't on the 118. Then let's see what else you got here. We have more rivets back here. All three of these upper wing elements all have riveting on the back. You can see the nice diffusers also done in carbon fiber. Then you get this kind of gold heat shield on the lower wing beam, I guess is the technical term. Then in the exhaust, around the top of the exhaust, you get a little bit of photo etching there. And then inside, you can actually, the tailpipes are there. They're kind of split in two, but they are there. And I'll throw up a photo so you can see them, because you really can't see them from this angle. But this is the era when they started using the rear exiting or upper rear exiting exhaust as opposed to from behind the car or under the floorboard. So it was kind of experimental in '99 and started to become the standard. Or sorry, '98 kind of became the standard after that. And then my favorite part, I think, of this model are these wheels. The wheel detail is just fantastic. This I call it a satin aluminum finish. Looks amazing in person. Looks like metal. Um, Obviously, it's not. It's not just that typical aluminum metallic paint that other users or other manufacturers would use. This really just has this a beautiful satin finish to it, and I think really sets this car off. You also get a lot of the on the rear end plates. You get these all the pivot points for adjusting the rear wings to their correct angle. Then you get these kind of side pod wings here. These are done in photo etch as they are done on 118. I think they look great. You still get the gap kind of back here. You can kind of see the gap on the inside. You can't see it on the outside. It's the same on the 118. It's a little more obvious on the 118. So I think at 112, this presents much better. Again, this front TV camera, this kind of chrome um, paint that they're using looks fantastic. It looks like metal in person. So no complaints. Then we get to the part that I kind of alluded to in the beginning of the video that I was super nervous about. And if you'd watched my other videos, you kind of knew this is where I was going to go. And of course, that was the driver figure. I did choose to get the driver figure. That's kind of goes against my normal have it on 112th. Obviously, all of my mini champs 112th have driver figures in them. However, some of my amalgams and other GP replicas do not have the driver figures in them, and that's partly because I just didn't think the execution on the 118 scale level was that great. Was not so bad on, it was acceptable, I guess, on the 118 scale. However, the F399 99 car, that does not look so great and makes me nervous about ordering the driver variant in 112 going forward. Uh, However, again, I'm a huge Schumacher fan, so I like to have the driver, particularly for him. It's part of the entire story, and I kind of feel that way on the 118th as well. 112th, it's a little more focused on the car when you get to this size. There's the details of the car, less about the driver, in my opinion. So I'm okay not having a driver. Uh, However, when it comes to Schumacher, I'm a little different. Um, I kind of like to have him. So I went ahead and got the driver figure in here. I think the helmet's actually pretty good. It's not as I was really worried about it, frankly. I don't think it's perfect. I think it's a little flattish on the front side of this helmet. This is a 98 Aero helmet, and just for kind of reference, I have some 1/2 scales. This is the famous 96 Aero helmet that I really love, and I think it's super cool. It's kind of the first time we really saw this. It's got kind of this arrow bit here. It kind of makes for a flatter kind of feel to the back end of it. It's kind of this oblong shape. It's narrow in the front and then gets wider in the back. Um, so that's kind of the helmet I think everybody thinks about with the Arrow, but that was really only run in 96 for the most part. So this is a 98. 98 is kind of a hybrid of a traditional helmet with a little bit of Arrow flare in it. This one's super wide. Uh, Schumacher, this is just kind of period correct. This is what they were wearing. The helmet's got really wide and really round. You still have a little bit of flat part here. So this is the helmet they're trying to mimic, and maybe if you tilt it this way, it kind of does look like it does in the 112 scale. I don't know. I mean, this is personal, and when you make things at scale, it's not always going to be exactly right. So, anyways, I think my fears have been kind of squashed, and that like this actually looks pretty decent. Doesn't turn me off of the model. I'm not immediately thinking, oh my god, I got to sell this and get one without a driver figure in it. Um, and if you look at the driver figure, it's typical. Yeah, the driving suit's okay. It's a little plasticky. The seat belts look a little bit thin because they're probably the same size they use in the 118th. So that's probably the reverse effect of scale here. Um, but you can't see it in here. There's carbon fiber on the side of the cockpit plus some padding. Then you got the details on the steering wheel and things like that. But it's pretty detailed. There's some decals down by his left leg that you can't see in here. If I can get a photo, I'll shoot one. But yeah, I would say the seatbelt maybe be the one kind of negative, like where the scale actually works against itself. And again, on the helmet here, they have a plastic visor. I think if I shined a light through there, you kind of see the driver figure in there, similar to kind of what Spark does. It's so dark you can't see that, so it's not, it doesn't really kind of bother me. But um and just a kind of a weird little detail on these decals for the marble decal, they actually cut the holes where in the B where the black antenna comes, and then in the O on the where the metal antenna went, they actually cut the holes or pre-cut them, which normally I'd have to do myself on the 118 scale. So that was kind of a nice helpful aspect from GP Replicas to go ahead and pre-punch those holes. It still was hard to get on, but then I did tear it a little bit in the front, but that's okay. By the time you put the decal set on there, it looks pretty good. Um, anyway, so overall, amazing model. I'm super excited about this. I think it looks beautiful. I am now very, very excited about future Schumacher 112 scale models from GP Replica. I also think they're bringing out the Nigel Mansell 92 car, so looking forward to that. So yeah, hopefully they'll make all of Schumacher's Ferraris in 112 scale and in 118. So again, love this model. Might be my new favorite model in my collection. Again, I cannot say enough great things about this model. Please, if you're interested in this, go ahead and buy it. You're not going to be disappointed. Uh, and again, if you like the video, hit like, hit subscribe, comment. I love chatting back and forth. I got some more models in recently, so I'll be making some more videos soon. And thanks again for watching.